All right, how we doing, everybody? Welcome to the Marvel Madness Comics podcast. This is going to be episode number 8 for you guys. I'm, of course, Brandon, and joined by fellow co-hosts as usual. Both present this week. We got Carl. How you doing, Carl?
Good, man. How's everything going?
We got Trevitt. How we?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, so there's those two guys. Again, I'm Brandon. We're gonna run things down for you and how we do business real quick. Take care of the general housekeeping stuff before we get into this week's books. We're going to be covering Invincible Iron Man number 8 for you guys, Spectacular Spider-Man number 1, and then Weapons of Mutant Destruction. Is that a number 1? It's got to be, right?
Yeah, it's a number 1.
Okay. Is there going to be a number 2, or are they just
No,
that's just the number 1? And
no, number 2. Yeah, it's just
no number
1. And when I read the list, it said alpha, but now it says number 1. So
yeah, crossover from here on out. So anyway, we're going to get into things here. Run over our mission statement, and that is highlighting 3 to 4 books for you guys each week. This week is an easy week on us. It's just going to be 3. But what we hope to do is provide you a bit of a glimpse into the Marvel comic book universe. We like to mix up the action a little bit, keep you on your toes by keeping you up to date with some of the latest news, the upcoming titles being released, some fun facts we like to run through each week, and just the general going-ons in Earth Prime or whatever the hell Marvel decides to call it. This week they used 616 as a different term altogether. Did you see that? It was in Invincible Iron Man.
Yep.
Nick Fury referred to a 616 as when a let me get this wording right. It means when a metahuman attacks after a terrorist attack. So like when that lady octopus attacked everybody after the bomb went off or whatever. That's what a 616 is now, apparently. Well, according to Bendis, I'm not sure if that's canon or not. He lives in his own world sometimes. So it's Earth Prime at this current moment until the next life-changing event. But anyway, we tried to not really constantly cover the same titles over and over, just to avoid any repetitiveness on the show. Things fresh and informative for you guys. Kind of guide you into what we think what books are worth a buy, a borrow, or a forget it altogether, which is how we rate things. While dividing them up into 3 main categories to just make life easier on all of us, and each of us being responsible for one of those categories. I do the Spider Family. Carl, you take care of, you describe it best as what's that? What do you say?
It is the heroes, villains, and cosmic family. Basically anything that's not Inhuman, X-Men, or Spider-Man team-led.
Yeah. And then that leaves Trevitt with the, I always say IVX, but it's
I like that. Let's go with that. Go with that.
The IVX section.
The Inhumans and the X.
And then we throw a group effort in together on any main numbered event titles. We can't be bothered with all those side labeled Secret Empire books because there's way too many of them to read and keep up on. But anyway, if you guys like what we do, or even if you don't like what we do and you want to get a hold of us, we can be reached through email, and that's at marvelmadnesspod@gmail.com. We can be reached on Twitter, and that's at madnessmarvel1. We're open for business, like to retweet your new comic book day polls. We even throw some digital codes around out there, too. I've been releasing, I don't know, a couple each week. There was something I retweeted the other day where Marvel's giving away all of the X-Men #1 issues. You see that?
I didn't see that.
The X-Men lineup, the Resurrection lineup, they released all the #1 issues.
Oh, yeah, I did see that
for free.
That's a good marketing ploy right there.
Yeah. So the only one they didn't release is Old Man Logan, which I'm like, oh, they didn't. That's a 25 in there, but because that was my favorite out of all the relaunch. But anyway,
My favorite number
So
one.
yeah, those are like some of the things you'll find on our Twitter, where we keep you up to date on free comics and what people are buying, what's fresh and popular on Wednesdays. Just some fun is had on there. So follow us and we'll follow you back. If you're looking for the podcast, that can of course be found on iTunes and Podbean. Rate, review it, spread the word. You let us know you did that. As soon as it pops up on iTunes, we'll send you some free digital codes. I got some to spare. Not running out of those anytime soon. So keep in touch. You let us know you help us out, and we'll hook you up. That's how that works. Now that all the housekeeping stuff is cleaned up and out of the way, we're gonna let Trevitt take over, and he's gonna spill the beans on the not so good news in the Marvel related world of comics this week, I guess you
fluff
could
it up
say.
a little bit.
So quick pause here while we send Trevitt. Well, we go off to Trevitt and his news section. Whoa. Hang on, let me fix this and get a clap in. All right, Trevitt with the news. Go ahead.
All right, so it was a very, very slow snail's pace news week this week. We didn't have much, but we did have what some would thought would be a big announcement, but turned out to kind of be like a little bit of a wet fart. So here we go. This week there was a reveal of sorts from Marvel about their upcoming Marvel Legacy relaunch. I would like to say we got a lot of information about what Legacy entails, aside from a bunch of fancy covers, pretty sweet sounding one shot, and some characters returning to their old namesakes. More on that in a minute, but for now, I want to go over some of those changes, just a few cool things that are going to be coming with Legacy out of all the whatever stuff, because I'm not all completely sure about what it's going to be about, but here's some of it. So.
Yeah, I still think there's going to be some news that trickles out next week, because there has to be. It almost feels like all they did was, here's this one shot coming, the price and what's going to be in it. And then here's all the books that have been out. Like it doesn't feel like they've released anything new,
except for a couple
52
things,
titles. Yeah, like 52 titles isn't a lot for Marvel for the recent release schedule. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's low for them. That's very low for them.
Yeah,
they're all about quantity, not quality. So.
Yeah. So anyway, I interrupted you there. Take back off wherever you are.
So first up, we got the Marvel 2-in-1 book. Now, what this is instead of Marvel bringing back the Fantastic Four, which is what droves of fan wants, we're getting a book that tells solo adventures of the Thing and the Human Torch. So the Fantastic 2. I don't know who's excited for that. But
is that just the first issue, and it's always going to be two different stories? Because isn't that what the Marvel 2-in-1 was?
Yeah. I think that's what's going to be. I think it's going to be split, like one adventure thing, and then I think halfway through it'll be an adventure of Johnny Storm. So
see, I never had an old copy of one, or I didn't really know what it is, and I didn't really understand the announcement. So I don't know if that's literally only going to be the first issue of that Marvel 2-in-1, and then like the next issue, the next month will be two different characters featured in it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think it's
so. I just don't know what that's all about yet.
Do I? I was hoping they'd bring back like what ifs. Remember what ifs? Like those were pretty cool.
Yeah, I love those. Yeah, those were cool.
If they were gonna harken back to something from the old days, I prefer a what if to a Marvel 2-in-1.
Yeah. I still remember my favorite what if being what if the Hulk killed the Wolverine, and it was like one of those cheesy chrome covers with Wolverine's skeleton.
That's
as being like just one of my favorite books when I was a kid in the 90s,
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a sweet book.
So next up, we got something that's pretty cool. I was a little excited about this, and that's we're getting a Falcon book. We're ditching the two Captain America books. At Captain America issue number 25, Steve Rogers will fall into being the only Captain America in the Marvel Universe, and Sam Wilson will return to his previous moniker of Falcon, and he will have his own solo title, which is pretty cool. So we'll see. Maybe it'll be the same creative team. I don't know if Nick Spencer is still going to be on it, and maybe Daniel Acuna will step in and do some art like he has been doing, or
they didn't release a lot of creative teams with this.
No.
Like they just released covers, right?
Yeah, that's it. I think they didn't want to like shoot their wad all at once. So like maybe like we got all this stuff this week, maybe next week or the week after we'll get some creative teams. Like hopefully we'll start getting more information as we get closer to the beginning of Legacy. I mean, we've been hearing more about Legacy lately than we have about Generations. It's kind of like they're blocking Generations out of their mind and just completely focusing on Legacy. Like, oh god, even though Generations is a complete waste of time.
Yeah, it just doesn't interest me. I think I have interest in two of them, Wolverine and Spider-Man, and those are the two characters I like.
Yeah, I wanted to check out that Wolverine one. It looks pretty cool.
Up.
And the artist is Ramon Rosanas, who I love. He used to do all the art on Astonishing Ant-Man, so I can't wait to check that out. So next up, we got, and I'm really curious about this book, and I'm a little excited, but it's a new title called Spirit of Vengeance, and this book will be a team book with Ghost Rider, Johnny Blaze, not the idiot who drives the car, Damon Hellstorm, Satana, and Blade. I mean, we haven't seen Blade in God knows how long, so that's pretty cool. It's really exciting to me because we've not seen a lot of these characters in a long year, and it kind of reminds me of like this will be like Marvel's version of Justice League Dark. I mean, they even have, instead of Zatanna, they have a Satana. Like, it just feels.
Yeah, I was gonna say that just sounds like. Did you just say Zatanna? Were you reading Detective this week or?
Yeah, it's some chick with horns. I'm not too familiar with her, but yeah, Satana. So, but it sounds pretty cool. No creative team has been announced. The cover art looks pretty dope, but other than that, that's the only information that I have. And I'm really glad they're bringing Johnny Blaze back because they could see that Robbie just wasn't working out. You know, his last book was just god friggin' awful. You know, it was.
I'm looking up that Wolverine. Just sidetrack you real quick. I'm looking up that What If Hulk Killed Wolverine? What If comic I was talking about.
Yeah.
On eBay, and it's like. It's goddamn pretty expensive. Oh, wait, hold on. I'm on the Canadian site. Never mind. That's probably influencing things here. Never mind. Go on. Proceed. Let me file. Tell you how much it is in a second.
So last but not least, and I got an editor's note after this, but last but not least, the Hulk book, simply titled Hulk, will be getting a name change, going back to her original title of She-Hulk. My guess is they're just doing this so they can return to the legacy numbering of She-Hulk, which should be somewhere in the couple hundreds, I believe, because she's been around for a long time. So
yeah, and I think they just don't want confusion with the Hulk books. You know what I'm saying? Like when you got one Hulk and She-Hulk's in it, that's fucking confusing.
Yeah, and they're taking Totally Awesome Hulk and they're renaming it The Incredible Hulk. So they can return to the legacy numbering there. So we're going to see a lot of familiar titles, but maybe different characters in those spots. Like, so, you know, I mean, I hope they bring, I don't know what they're going to do with all these Iron Men. I mean, you got Doom, you got Riri, you got Tony. Like, Jesus Christ.
And did you hear the rumor about Punisher being the new War Machine?
I didn't hear that. I did not hear that.
Sorry, I didn't bring that one for you, but
that sounds crazy though. That's right. Rhodey's dead though, right? Like that you know, imagine like Rhodey's armor but upgraded, right? And the Punisher symbol on the front, but black and gray instead of the like black and white instead of the black and gunmetal gray. That'd be dope. That'd be kind of cool. So I got a little note I want to read about Legacy because I have like a question. I feel like everybody who reads Marvel and you know, the quality of their issues, the prices they're charged. I feel like everybody probably feels this way a little bit. I just wanted to put it out there. So I was going to say now with all this exciting news, I have something I just want to put out there. I'm still not sure what Marvel Legacy is in the first place, besides nostalgic variant covers and going back to legacy numbering. I'm not sure there's a clear idea behind it. I appreciate we're getting a one-shot by Jason Aaron and Esad Ribic, but at 50 pages for $5.99, it's not quite exactly matching DC Universe Rebirth's 80-page one-shot that had a cover price of $2.99 and actually led to a larger story that is unfolding over the course of 2 years. With that, I have to ask, is this story that takes place in Marvel Legacy actually going to lead to something, or is it just a dollar store version of Rebirth? Like,
yeah. I really hope there's like a long-running story, because that's what I really enjoy most. Like when all the books have not really the same motivational purpose, but like everyone's working towards a greater, you know, a greater mystery. You know what I'm saying? In the background of doing what they're doing. That's cool. That's what a connected universe is to me.
Just
you know
like
what I'm saying?
what DC's doing with Rebirth. I would love to see this one shot put something into the back. Like they said they weren't going to, I mean, God knows they'll do crossovers that look exactly like events. So they're kind of full of shit when they say it. But I know they said that they're not going to do events, and I'm doing quotations. Nobody can see me, but for 18 months. But it would be cool if this one shot led to a story that would play out through the whole entire universe for the next 18 months. And when they finally did do an event, it would be because of this 50-page one shot. You know what I mean? But I mean, who knows?
And you're just more invested in it than it being just another event because it's what the calendar tells you that's what time of year it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's summertime. We need to have our summer event like we do every goddamn year, whether it's shuts down all the books, stories or not, you know.
Got to bring in those dollars, son.
With the exception, yeah, with Bendis not playing ball with the event, he's like the only one that's not being forced into writing for a tie-in at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. And it's kind of weird because when you got something as big as Secret Empire going on, how are all these stories going on that are not involved?
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
and not that I want everything, you know, humping Secret Empire's leg, because it's not a story that's gripping me really at this point in time. No. But when you got Sharon Carter in that book and it's not brought up, and her position is totally different in the whole course of the universe, it's just like, couldn't you pick somebody else to use in that spot, Bendis? Like, there's 1,000 people that work for fucking S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, I think
we'll
it's because
stop there. We'll get to that when we talk Iron Man 8. I don't want to step on Carl's toes here.
I think those books take place, like all the books that are not like touching on Secret Empire take place like obviously before it all happened. Yeah. Which in the Iron Man,
that's what I got.
Like both the Iron book sense, it would make more sense than it does with some other books that are not involved. But I'm not going to get into that. So.
Yeah, next week is Secret Empire week, where we take a week off this week with our gripes. So,
yeah, thank God.
Yeah, and anyway, just to wrap up, you got any more? I don't know, legacy thoughts, Carl? Do you have any legacy thoughts? What are you excited for? Give me 2 things you're excited for, and then maybe 1 or 2 you're not.
Oh man, the only thing that I'm excited for is that Spirit of Vengeance book. Maybe Falcon. Yeah. Because Spirit of Vengeance, it actually just sounds cool. You know, like Trevitt was saying, it's like that dark team that are gonna get into crazy shit. And Falcon, I just like Falcon because he's not gonna be Captain America, so I don't have to worry about who's who anymore. And I'm glad that it's actually Sam Wilson as Falcon and not someone else.
Yeah, not that kid. Maybe they'll call him something else.
But you know, I know for a fact that this isn't. I feel this isn't leading to anything. This whole legacy thing is. Here's your numbers that you all wanted, and I bet 6 months from now they're going to have a giant crossover. They're not going to name an event that is 37 of their 52 titles are going to be all linked into the event.
See, what if they did something like this? Now, if they just ran like a giant one shot every, like a 50-page one shot, and they wanted to charge $6 like every year or every 6 months, like that would be kind of cool. But you got to get it over with, or kind of make progress and lead to the next story point for all the other books to pick up on. Something like that. And that's kind of what I'm holding out hope for, that this is. Like, it's not really because it feels like those books doing the stories and getting renamed again with a different number on them. They're probably started and almost finished at this point. Because what is that, in September?
Yeah.
This is all dropping. So that's what I'm hoping is that their stories continue, that their people are enjoying now, that they're selling now, and that it hints towards just a bigger universe solving problem. Maybe track down the Fantastic Four. That would be pretty fucking cool, because there's 3 of them just floating in space right now.
You know what? That would be fucking awesome because they were the first book to ever come out of Marvel. They're considered the first family, and it's called Legacy. So like, if that's what it was about, like finding Reed and Sue, like that would be amazing. That's a great idea.
Yeah, yeah. Like make it just a hunt for like everybody in DC is, and you don't have to. It's not really copying DC because these aren't God characters. You know what I'm saying? Like Dr. Manhattan is. They're all hunting for him, quote unquote. But like you're hunting for your friends. Nobody notices these two fucking characters and their kids are missing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
So it's just
I love what Marvel does. I love what Marvel does. They let DC take all the chances, and then they're like, if it works, they're like, hey, let's try that. This is too funny.
So yeah, I mean, go ahead, Carl. Sorry.
The only thing I really hope to see, besides like something sweet happen, is to have everything put into one universe. Like I know they killed the Ultimate Universe in Secret Empire, but we have people, or not Secret Empire, but Secret Wars, but we keep having people from the Ultimate Universe popping up now.
Yeah.
Like let's if we're not going to use that group of people, let's kill it completely. Shove everyone back where they're supposed to go, and
it is killed completely. That's the
where
these people.
Yeah, but it's killed completely. But we just got Jimmy in X-Men Blue.
Not just Jimmy, but like.
And the Ultimate Avengers are coming around in Ultimates 2, number 100.
Yeah.
Going on in that.
Those are all refugees.
But I don't know. If I had to say, just to not be totally negative, Nancy, on it, if I had to say there were two things I was looking forward to, it was finding out Gwenpool's continuing in Marvel Legacy. And it is also finding out that some of the books are going to higher numbers, which makes it, just fun. I don't know. Other than like things I'm not looking forward to, I'm just overall disappointed. It feels like variant cover month, just a themed variant cover month. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
really
one
does.
shot coming out. And I really hope we're proven wrong and it's more than that. But we'll see coming up this week, and we'll definitely update the news as soon as we find out more. We'll let you guys know. Yeah, it is. And we'll keep you posted because we didn't start a Marvel podcast to shit on it and be negative Nancy's all the time.
The reason why I talk like that is because I love Marvel. You know what I mean? Like it bothers me that they're like I have a higher opinion than they seem to have of themselves. Like it's just ridiculous the way they handle things. They're better than that.
They're still like just catering to the people that don't really buy their books because they get headlines, but it doesn't result in sales that beat their competitors at this moment in time.
Those people,
like they're used to. Yeah, I don't care for them.
Those people that they're trying to reach, those people in the media that are always complaining, like they don't even buy the books. Like they cause all this ruckus, they cause all these changes. They might try it out for a month or two, but then they completely abandon it. Like they're just casual fucking assholes. Like no, fuck them.
Yeah, so that's the news section, guys. All right, there you go. We're gonna jump off to the books, which I from our Marvel Legacy rants almost spoiled half of Iron Invincible. Is it Invincible? Is this one Invincible?
Yeah, it's Invincible. Yeah. Invincible.
What's the Infamous? Is the other one, right?
Yeah.
Infamous Iron Man.
Yeah. Okay. So we're about to jump off to Invincible Iron Man in book section 1, followed by Spectacular Spider-Man number 1. So we're going to go off to that now and hopefully cheer up a little bit. We'll see. All right, so we're going to knock these. Everyone's got the book up here?
Yep.
Iron Man's the first one, right?
So I'm looking up goddamn. And what if Hulk killed Wolverine up on eBay here? I'm checking that. I
was looking at the digital copy of Wildstorm, so because they had this dope Declan Shalvey variant cover.
That's what I'll probably end up doing. I'll buy a Comixology copy of it and do it for Throwback Thursday on the site maybe this week.
That's a good idea. I could probably find it. I found a bunch of what ifs.
Started on the books. All right, so we're back. This is book section number 1. We're going to kick it off to Carl. Everyone's sick of hearing me and Trevitt for a little bit. We're going to let him lead the hero section. His choice, Invincible Iron Man number 8. You got the solicit and everything up?
Yes, sir.
All right, you take it. Take off.
All right, Invincible Iron Man number 8. Riri Williams strikes out on her own as her idealism is pushed to the test by a world she does not understand yet. How far is Riri willing to go to do what she knows is right? Writer for this is Brian Michael Bendis. Art is Stefanos Caselli. Colors is Marty Garcia. And letters is BC's Clayton Cowles. All right, so we start this book off in a really weird place. It's going back to years ago, and Riri just stands up in the middle of class like, hey, I know what I want to be when I grow up. And her teacher's like, okay, what do you want to be? She says, I want to be a scientist. But she's expecting to get negative feedback because that's what the scientist, NASA astronaut, got when she first said that. The first African-American astronaut got that. And she was expecting the same thing. And when her teacher's like, no, she's the reason why you're not getting that negative feedback, she couldn't accept it. So teacher's like, fine, you'll never be Tony Stark. And that's where she decided
to be It was Stark. Such a weird scene. I didn't understand what was going on when everything got started, because this being my first book I've read that Riri's been in since the end of, the Iron Man arc when Tony was in it. I was just like, is this how it is all the time? Like, is she always like trying to force? Yeah, like no, not the back and forth. Like this situation where she's like,
oh no, this is new.
Trying to have the teacher discriminate against her.
Yeah,
I what was going on here?
She wants that motivation, that the lady black astronaut got when someone told her she couldn't do something,
Yeah, does she? But I mean, does she lack motivation? Does she always need a reason to?
No, that's the.
This is pointless.
Yeah, that's the problem with this issue.
Yeah, that is a big.
Yeah, so
it was dumb.
Okay.
Yeah. So from there we move over, and Riri is flying over a terrorist attack. Where she lands, and she's like, "Hey guys, I'm here to help." And they are like guns drawn on her, take your suit off. And she's like, guys, it's me, I'm here to help. And finally, Nick Fury gets a little message on his radio to send her in. And she's like, okay. Sharon Carter's in there and she's like, listen, you don't know what the hell you're doing, are you? Coming into an active crime scene with SHIELD agents and local police agents and just flying in, swooping in, saying, I'm here to help. No one knows who you are from the evil villain that could be dressed up like you. And I don't think she understands what's going on. It's like, she's like, I'm here to help. What's the problem? And then it flashes forward again from there to the Kennedy Space Center. She calls up and she wants to know what the age requirements are for the astronaut training program back years ago again. And the lady's like, well, you need a college degree. And she's like, okay, but how old do you have to be? And like, old enough to have these degrees. She's like, okay, but what's the age requirement? You're not answering my question. And she's like, well, you need to have a degree in this. And she's like, well, I guess you'll get it someday. She's like, I'm calling from my dorm room at MIT, and I'll call you back when I have my degree.
She wasn't a typical college-aged kid, right?
No,
she's obviously younger than.
She's 11 years old at this point.
Yeah, she says 11. Yeah, I'm 11 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
So, like that was funny. The first
clueless old lady is more funny than like Riri. You know what I'm saying? She just like doesn't get what she's being asked, and it actually this part is funny.
Yeah, and like an 11-year-old kid would have like a retarded thing. Like they would make a stupid phone call like that.
Yeah, and this lady's probably had an 11-year-old call up at some point and be like, "I'm going to be an astronaut," and and she's probably like, "Yeah, okay,
sure thing."
Yeah, so we flash back to the Smithsonian, and Sharon Carter's like telling Riri, there's no one else you can trust with this. I need you to do this. And Tony's telling her, like, yeah, they need you to be expendable. You're not an agent of SHIELD. You're not an Avenger. So you go in to
What was, before you start, like, continue with this scene with her and Sharon, what was like the previous issue? Did it lead to any of this scene where this building is exploded and she just shows up to help out?
No, I think it was the very last couple pages of last issue. Sharon Carter's at this ball and there's a bomb and it blows up and she's watching it on the news.
Yeah.
But nothing, something compelled her. She had to be there. Like, and that's what it said in the opening pages. She's like, I don't know why I have to be here at this thing, but something's compelling me to go, so she goes. Like in the very first page where it gives the credits, where you get your little Riri rundown.
Where she's like fixing the piece of armor or whatever.
Yeah, so she's basically saying, I don't know why I got to be here. I'm just gonna go. I just feel like I got to be there. But Sharon's basically using Riri to give them an excuse to go attack. And I, for the life of me, cannot remember this lady's name. Baron. Oh, I had it written down. It's at the end of the comic. I'll bring it back up there because they actually see her name. But person in charge of Latveria, which should be Doom at this point, because that's who's in charge in the Doctor Doom infamous Iron Man book.
Von Bartis.
Yeah. But she bombed the Smithsonian, so they want her to go take care of this for them, and she's like, I don't know if it's the right thing to do. Tony's telling her that,
this is the part where the book really loses me here.
Yeah, so I got confused here too. So Tony's telling her that you're not an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., so you can do this, and they're not going to get their hands dirty. They're using you to not get their hands dirty. And she says, I don't know, it seems like there's more than this. And Tony's like, no, it's that simple. Mm-hmm. Like, she's trying to overthink the problem, like trying to think there's got to be something good about what they're trying to have me do. And Tony's like, no, you're literally just there.
Yeah, I don't understand why she's even here if she's not going to do anything, though. Like, what are you, just coming here to find out information? You just being a snoop, or are you going to go do something? Like,
I don't using her.
I don't think she knows what. I don't think she knows what she's doing yet.
No, she doesn't. That's the whole point of this book.
That's the whole point of this book. She doesn't know what she's doing. She had a feeling she needed to be there as Ironheart, which she gives her name as Ironheart, but she doesn't know what to do next. And Tony's telling her this is what they want you to do, and it's that simple. But she was trying to see a deeper meaning in it, and then in comes Lady Octopus. Lady Octopus. Yep. Basically, Dr. Octopus's old assistant, who took over as Dr. Octopus for a while. And that's where Riri finally gets her little fight, which didn't last long. I don't even think she took her out. I think it was the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that shot.
No, it says
I don't have a shot.
She like electrocutes her leg.
Yes.
Because she mentioned, she's like, I should have tried that earlier or whatever.
But then she takes her out, and then that like sealed the deal for her. She's going to go to Latveria and take care of this. They attacked. The people told her to attack. They gave her the name. So she flies off. But then you go back 2 years ago before you get to that point, and Riri's in the garage building something, and her friend wishes her a happy birthday. I don't count my birthdays. It's stupid. Type deal from her. And his birthday present to her was a phone call from her idol, the first African-American astronaut. And she had a bunch of questions, and basically she gave her everything she needed over the phone. And then we flash to Latveria, and you get to see Lady Von Bartis watching the TV, trying to watch for news articles showing the attack she planned. And the guys are like, S.H.I.E.L.D. controls the news, so you're not going to see anything S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't want you to see. And, she's saying it's a disappointment, and then Riri shows up and says, it's never too late to turn the day around. You want a moment, Von Bartis? I'll give you a moment, and to be continued. thoughts and opinions on that last section?
No, I really don't. It kind of confused me.
Yeah,
just as far as like, I don't know how. I guess they told her where she was.
Yeah,
to begin with, but I just don't understand this whole blowing up the building and all this nonsense, and her being there. And
that little girl is a big motivator too. The girl who brought her the candle and the phone call. That's the whole entire. That little girl is the whole entire reason that she's Ironheart.
Or did she die?
Yeah, she got killed in a drive-by at a picnic. With her stepfather got killed in that same drive-by. It was in the first two issues.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't read that part. But I don't know, just like the way the flashbacks are paced throughout this book, and it just breaks up any progress it starts to make story-wise. With like a weird interlude that just doesn't feel like it means much other than to randomly fill you in on aspects of her backstory, just for the sake of doing so, not because it adds to the story really. It's nice that her friend that she has a connection with pops up, and it's nice to see characters and connections like that appear in the pages, but it feels like it's just meeting a checkbox for drama in this issue and not serving a purpose otherwise. I just really wasn't super interested in anything I read, and things seemed to just happen randomly. Like, I have a feeling I need to be here. She gets there. She's not sure if she should be there. Just wanted her as a hero to make a decision and go with it and not be like poked and prodded into directions. She just, I don't know, wasn't a hero. I after one issue feel like continuing to follow. For me, the art is awesome. I love the art. The character models and everything look great compared to the upcoming Superior Spider-Man. Like, it's easy to tell this is an Ironheart version of Iron Man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But other than that, it's a forget it. I love the art, but the story was forgettable, so I forget the issue.
Yeah, man, I feel you on that.
What about you?
Now, this book, which I've been loving, totally bombed this week. The story was really hard to follow, going back and forth from flashback to flash forward to a middle section that was really hard to read to, which is really sucky because I've been really enjoying this title. That's why I picked it this week. It's something that I've avoided before because of your hate for Bendis, and this week I was like, okay, I got a decent Bendis book last week. Let's try bringing him back in again, and this one just was bombed. The art, spectacular, but story-wise, no, it's a forget for me too.
Yeah.
Just for this issue, I'm gonna keep getting all these Ironheart books though.
Yeah. Like, it's just a down issue in a series that you otherwise enjoy. I get that, but like, just as somebody who's never read it before, it's not one of the issues, and it almost feels like a jumping on point, but it's not a good one. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't lost about her past or anything, just the current story. I was just like, I don't
actually
care,
it actually does continue a lot of stuff from the last issue, like, because there were flashes from Sharon Carter's perspective, because they've been watching Riri for a whole time. Like, I know they touch on it in this issue, like in number 8, like, she tells her that they have been, but they show you that how they've been watching her in the previous issue. Yeah. Oh God, cool. The art is just so fucking spectacular. Like, Stefano Castelli, like, is. How like lately we've been getting like little panels where like there's no detail, and like people have dots for even the tiniest panels in this book have like the utmost detail. And the colorist on this book is amazing. Like, I just love like the reflections and like the different tones of light in certain rooms, and the way the AIs look, how they actually glow. You know what I mean? Like, her repulsor boots and her repulsors in her hands, they actually, like, everything that's supposed to glow is just not like a bright color. Like, it actually looks like it's glowing.
Yeah, it is. It's art wise, art was never the reason I would say forget this issue. If you like pretty pictures, then it's a series you're following from the beginning. Like, pick up the issue; it'll be worth it for you. But if this is something you're like on the fence about, like me, I want an Iron Man comic to read and enjoy, but I want to read about Tony Iron Man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this book is So I feel it's pretty much almost the same way that you guys do about this issue. I really love the art. I have loved this series up until this issue. Like, it's been really good. Like, the way they've been, like, it's the journey of how someone becomes a hero. So, like, you see her all the way from when she's a little girl, up until, I mean, she's 15 now, so she's not exactly a friggin' adult, but you get to see that growth from, like, a little kid. What, like, every aspect of how she became this hero, you get to see. Like, nothing is left out, no stone is left unturned. But I hated this stupid forced, like, thing in the beginning with her. You know, I need you to tell me, like, I want to follow in this woman's footsteps, so I need you to
I need you to tell me that I'm not good. Yeah. I'm
like,
not good enough.
You have to not believe in me, like that lady astronauts.
Teachers end up on the news for that shit nowadays. You can't be just saying shit to kids like that.
Exactly. Exactly. And I mean, I understand she's like a little kid, and then I don't know how old she is at this point. It doesn't exactly say, because it just says years ago. But
gotta be younger than 11.
I think
11
it's
she was in college.
Yeah, I think it's before they realized that she was gifted, because they touch on that in previous issues too, like where the school sets the parents aside and they're like, you know, your daughter can't come back here, she's too smart. You know what I mean? Like, we're not challenging her. She's bored. She's disrupting the class. But this was forced, and I didn't like it. We could have cut this out of the issue altogether. The whole compelled thing, like, that was kind of weak sauce too. Like, what did she say? Here we go. None of that matters now because there was a massive explosion at the Smithsonian during a giant gala. I felt so compelled to go there. Compelled. There's no other word to describe it. Compelled. Like, okay, I get it. That's wonderful.
It's like just one of those, just a reason to get her there that was just a stupid one. You know, like, I feel like I have to be here. If you feel like you have to go somewhere, you have an idea of what you have to do when you get there. You know what I'm saying?
And it would have been better if they just didn't say it at all, because the way this book's going, like, that's what like, she's in training, and like, when she heads out, like, everything that she's done so far has been of chance or random, because she goes out looking for trouble. Like, this is just what she did. We didn't need to see her be compelled, because she's already been doing this for the past 7 issues. I don't need a reason. I already know why she's doing it, so I don't need this bullshit about how she's fucking compelled. Like, I don't need it. As beautiful as it does look. And I don't know, the Nick Fury stuff, the Sharon stuff. There's one cool. I liked the astronaut thing when she calls the NASA and talks to the lady. That was kind of funny.
It was a funny part. Yeah.
There's a really cool panel when she's having a conversation with Sharon Carter, and you see the top panel. You see Riri's helmet, and then you can see Sharon's reflection in the helmet. It looks pretty awesome. Like, really good. But there's always a
coloring
fight.
Is top notch.
Yeah, it really is. There's always a fight in every issue. There's never not a fight. There's always at least 3 to 5 pages of her fighting someone, which I'm glad, because usually Bendis is all talking and no action for for Spider-Man at least. The most action you're going to get is him in a spider suit sitting on top of a building with somebody. But this, he goes out of his way to, like, with both Iron titles, actually, he goes out of his way to give you good action. Like, he tries to balance it. But this is definitely, I'd say go out and try out the previous 7 issues, forget this one, and then try out the next one, because this is spoilers. They even bit off Miles.
If you're interested, buy the first trade.
Yeah, buy the first trade. They even, like, I love the Iron Man version of a Venom Blast where she touches Lady Octopus and she gets electrocuted and falls down. And the stuff with the friend and the phone call, it adds to what happened in the beginning, but that was unnecessary, so this is unnecessary. So, and ending was a little lackluster, but this definitely a forget it altogether.
Yeah. Yep. I'm with you. So we got a universal forget for that first one. And I don't know how much better the second one's going to be either. We got Spectacular Spider-Man #1. This is the Spider Family Choice of the Week. We're going to end it on our high note with Trevitt, hopefully, and Weapons of Mutant Destruction. But this book is written by Chip Zdarsky. Art is by Adam Kubert. And then we got Jordi Belair taking care of color duties. We're going to get into our solicit here. I'm going to run through the events, and then we're going to share some buy, borrow, or forget thoughts as far as this bad boy goes. Spider-Man returns to the friendly neighborhood. The web-slinging, wall-crawling wonder returns to New York City in the all-new Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, a companion series to the best-selling Amazing Spider-Man. Peter Parker is going back to basics for big heroics in the Big Apple, featuring adversaries old and new. Be there as Spider-Man returns to his friendly neighborhood for his never-ending battle against crime and dreaded Parker luck. So that's what we're facing here. It's, probably no coincidence this comes out, a week before the new Spider-Man Homecoming movie hits theaters. So you walk out of the movie theater, the thought is you maybe walk into the comic store and grab the new Spider-Man #1 issue out on shelves. And it might be that might be why some of the reason I'm not a huge fan of this is maybe it's aimed at more of a casual audience. You know what I'm saying? Because things start out with just a general 6-panel recollection of Spider-Man's origin, and it transitions into him basically retelling that story to Johnny Storm, and Johnny Storm being like, dude, why are you telling me this? I know this. Basically these two set up a meeting to get together for a movie later that day and go their separate ways. Where Spider-Man's ringtone starts going off to the beat of Pretty Woman, and he answers it, and it's none other than his Aunt May. So I'm guessing the Aunt May in this comic is maybe more Marissa Tomei Aunt May than old Aunt May, because Pretty Woman is playing on the telephone there. So he answers it, talks to his Aunt May for, 3-4 panels before he picks up on some trouble going on below him. And it's a attempted robbery between just random muggers attacking this chick. We don't know her name just yet, but we'll find that out shortly. Spider-Man drops down on the scene to save her, and he finds out his web shooters are stuck, despite the fact that he just swung into the scene being web shooters. So anyway, nitpicks, I guess you could say. Spider-Man and this girl look quote-unquote screwed with a gun to their face when Ant-Man apparently comes out of the bad guy's pants and knocks these guys out for involved. And then him and Spider-Man start spitting the bit with each other. A hacked, unhackable Stark phone laying on the ground, and it's from one of the bad guys. So he picks it up, webs it to his waist, turns his attention to the sexy lady he rescued. The pink streaks in the hair will do it for me every time. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Gets Spider-Man as well, and he gets her business card, and her name is, we find out, Rebecca London, and she is a Joker, aka comedian. So Spider-Man gets the digits, Ant-Man hops on his shoulder, get their tech fixed via one of Ant-Man's tech friends he knows. We're finding out who that is. But again, Spider-Man's going to get his web shooters fixed, and he swings away with working web shooters, and also webbed this goddamn cell phone to his belt with working web shooters. So I don't really know what's broken here. I'm fuzzy on that. But anyway, they arrive to the secret hideout location on top of this building in New York. We see Falcon flying around in there. Looks like he got a tech upgrade. We find out this character, who Trevitt mentioned earlier, looks eerily like Andre the Giant in stature and size. He is the tech genius, and his name is shit. I didn't open my notes for this one because I've read this book like 5 times.
Mason,
and
right?
I don't need Mason. Yes, there it is. I didn't think I needed that back up. Yep. So Mason is related to the Tinkerer. So to combat his brother's villainous deeds, he helps the heroes and tinkers with their tech. He's a little disappointed at Ant-Man at first for letting Spider-Man in and spilling the beans on his secret, but realizes this is the real deal Spider-Man and warms up to him. Fixing Ant-Man's helmet, which was causing his height problems because he was kind of stuck in midget size. And then fixing Spider-Man's, I guess, broken web shooters. That they haven't really been clear on what was broken with the web shooters, but they get fixed here. Meanwhile, Spider-Man hands off his phone to Go. Is it?
I forget that kid's name.
Yeah, some tech assistant helping everybody out. He hacks into the unhackable phone for the second time this issue. The phone is hacked. And he gets Spider-Man a location, which is Chicago, Illinois. And Spider-Man in Peter Parker uniform goes off to Chicago to investigate this blip on the GPS they found. Get a funny scene here with Johnny Storm waiting outside Spider-Man or Peter Parker's apartment, with Peter totally forgetting they had plans to go to a movie. There's that scene where the random stranger walks by. He's like, "Hey, aren't you?" Kind of recognizing Johnny Storm because he doesn't have a secret identity, and he just says no. It was probably one of the few spots the humor actually kind of worked in this issue.
And there was almost no dialogue.
Yeah, and it was like just kind of a quick little blip. It wasn't a joke that had to be literally a paragraph long to work. And then Spider-Man arrives to where the GPS is taking him from this phone. He knocks on the door, kind of has an awkward exchange with nobody, saying, maybe I'm possibly here to arrest you. I don't know. Let's see what's going on. And out comes who we all think is Riri Williams. It looks
the least.
Yeah, that's what we all would guess is who it is.
Her armor has like a more pronounced breastplate, and then a more like the way the ass is curved, it looks more female, where this looks more like a male.
Yeah, so I was a little thrown off at first, but after reading some reviews that other people wrote, that's what everyone else thinks. So I went with that. Spider-Man gets blasted by her because I guess they're not too familiar with each other just yet, and that's where that scene ends. And then we go back to Johnny Storm chilling on the stoop of Spider-Man's place, kind of getting the hint Spider-Man's not going to show up, or Peter Parker in this case. And he gets interrupted by this mildly attractive looking lady, and we find out it is Teresa. She is Peter's sister. And that's how this issue, at least the main story, ends. Teresa Parker, just for anybody who is unfamiliar with that character, was kind of in just an OGN. Nobody was really sure if it was canon or not. That was written by Mark Waid. I think it came out last summer or 2 summers ago. It's a pretty good story. It involves her working for the CIA, kind of like twists and turns back and forth about whether she's a sister in real life or just kind of told she's the sister and believes it. And it's kind of left open-ended. So maybe we'll find out more as this series continues. But that's how things end here. And then we get a decent length backup involving Spider-Man for some reason or other kind of being spied on by S.H.I.E.L.D., a fight with Black Widow, so they can kind of get a sense of how his spider sensibilities work. And S.H.I.E.L.D. can use that for some sort of tech plan they have. But it says end at the end of that story. And the next issue I just looked up is only $3.99, so I'm not sure we're going to get another backup.
That's a shame.
Not really sure what the point of that is, other than just to kind of add $1 to the first issue. Or it feels like, one of those DC classroom projects. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where it's just like, oh, this is someone new to the business. Let's see if they can write a 10-page story and make it any good.
Give them a shot.
Yeah. So that's how this book ends. we're all going to tell you if you should buy, borrow, or forget this bad boy altogether. I don't know. I was extremely looking forward to this book coming out. I haven't read a whole lot of Chip Zdarsky books, and I've heard good things. Was all working in its favor before I read it, and then I just got into this after really not enjoying the Free Comic Book Day issue either, and just kind of felt like the same tone and like the same type of things were going on, just jokes on top of jokes on top of jokes, and things just happening to result in more jokes, and really just kind of a lame story going on in the background. There's so many side characters and just guest stars in this title. It's kind of mildly ridiculous. So it takes the focus off Spider-Man a little bit, but it also, you know, gives him other people to play off. But again, none of the jokes really hit to make you appreciate any of these appearances that whether they're a character you like or not. The art also is just lackluster compared to how clean looking the Free Comic Book Day issue looked, and how hyped this issue was coming out. Like, I don't know, just if somebody had a bad day at the office or is going through a divorce, I don't know what's going on, but it wasn't A-game material for sure, from writer or artist. And really know if I am going to spend money on the following issues. You know, usually I give things an arc. I don't know if I can take an entire arc of first issue was, though. So it's right now it's a forget it altogether for me, and I know that is against the popular opinion on Comic Book Roundup and sites on the internet. And I'm not saying it to troll or you know, yay for Amazing Spider-Man and boo for Spectacular Spider-Man, because I love spider books that aren't as popular as this is going to be, you know. So it's not that. It's just this was not my flavor of comic book that I like. So it's a forget it. And I understand why people may like it, but this is just not something I enjoy. What about you, Trev? What do you think?
Well, I almost feel exactly the same way. The art in this issue, I'm going to start with the art real quick. The art for Adam Kubert is just definitely not up to snuff. Like, it feels like he's trying out a new style here, and I just don't like it. Like, if you ever read anything about, I mean, seen anything by Adam Kubert before, which he's done tons of awesome shit, like, he's way better than this. A friggin' 1,000 times better than this. It felt rushed and sloppy. I did like one thing I do and don't like. I don't like how it is, like, it looks kind of dirty and like heavy on the pencils, but I do like the background cityscape, like the scale of the city and everything. That looks pretty cool, but that's I almost enjoyed the backup more than I enjoyed the actual issue. I have a few continuity problems because Ant-Man doesn't necessarily need that helmet to shrink, so it makes absolutely no sense, about as much sense as Peter needing his web shooter fixed. It makes no sense whatsoever to have him stuck at like midget height. It's done for comedic value, and it just doesn't work because you're breaking continuity for a bad joke. It's just I expect better. Like, I've read a little bit of Star-Lord, and it was much better than this. And what else do I have a problem with? Yeah, the web shooter thing. Like, that's dumb. Like, the guy he's a billionaire, head of a tech company, and his web shooter doesn't get the fuck out of here. The thing's voice commanded, controlled. Like,
no.
He's wearing this high-tech spider suit. I highly doubt that Andre the Giant, a character that was just made up for this issue that nobody's ever heard of or seen from. I mean, I'm just assuming because I've never heard of the Tinkerer's brother before. Was just made up just so I'm assuming he might be like becoming a regular character that Peter goes and has to see for all of his technical problems, which make no fucking sense because Peter has a PhD. Like, if he needs Andre the Giant to fix his web shooter, then he's not the Spider-Man we've been getting to know for the past like 4 or 5 years, you know. Like, like you said, this just isn't for me. It seems like it's for a different casual audience. did bring up an interesting point about Peter's sister about the OGN being wondering if it was in continuity. I think it might be, because in the Rage of Ultron OGN at the end, Hank Pym and Ultron merged into one person, like we saw in Secret Empire. So I'm assuming since they could bring it in from that book, from Rage of Ultron into Secret Empire into the main continuity, I guess they can do it with his sister. But this is just, I was so excited for this, and it was just like a big disappointment. So sorry, Adam Kubert, and sorry, like that Paulo Sequeira guy, because this is going to be bi-weekly at first. Like, I hope he gets like an issue in here or there, because his art on the Free Comic Book Day one was fantastic in comparison to this. It was
I know
amazing.
it was. What do you think?
I'm gonna forget altogether.
Yeah, you're forget. I'm forget. We haven't had a good opinion yet. What do you think, Carl? Can you help us out?
Oh no. This book gave me a headache. I attempted to read it 3 times. I had to read it in 3 parts, put it down, walk away, come back. I'm not gonna say forget it. I'm gonna say borrow, because while it's not for me, it's gotta be for someone. And I don't want to have people just listen to what we say and us all say forget it and say, nah, this book isn't good. Then I'm not gonna pick it up. You know, if you've got someone who's got a free code for you, got a buddy that's got it, just go ahead and borrow it, give it a shot. I may not like it.
I don't know.
I
don't know if it got claimed, but I did put a free code for this one. It's on our Twitter page. So if it didn't get claimed, you could always just go to our Twitter and try it out. There is a free code out for Spectacular Spider-Man on there. Just shout out to our Twitter. Go ahead, Carl.
I was gonna say the only saving grace of this book for me to say it's a borrow is that mystery at the end with Peter's sister, which I had to Google all that stuff because I did not know the OGN stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, this is interesting, and the Stark phone's interesting. Now, if that's not Riri Williams in the next issue, I will give up this book completely, because Riri.
I'm pretty sure it is. He's just drawing a little weird.
Riri's from Chicago. You know, she should have access to all this Stark technology, so she could hack it if she wanted to. So, I mean, if it's not Riri, then yeah, I'm done. I'll be out at that point. But right now, it's just a borrow. Like, I'll have to check out the next issue for that reason.
Yeah, we got to borrow out of everybody in our first segment there. We're going to take a break from the books real briefly. We're going to send it off to a quick PSA before we come back with the Midpoint Marvelous Facts. All right, I'm going to stop this one because we got a little long-winded there, so I hope I don't run into problems converting this one. And then I'm going to send you a new invite.
All right.
Cool and the gang.
So, does anyone need 5 minutes, bathroom break or anything?
No.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, good.
All right, coming quick then.